Can Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot, and this is Mixtape Monday, but you're getting it on a Tuesday. It was a bank holiday here in the US. We had Memorial Day, which is the day that we honor our fallen soldiers and fallen servicemen. So we did take some time out this weekend to be grateful for the sacrifice of our servicemen here. There's also a bank holiday in England, but I'm not really sure in the United Kingdom. I'm not really sure what the bank holiday was. I only became aware of it last night when I was texting with the Hutches. So I think it was the Hutches that I did that. But anyway, so that's the Fitness Hutch. If you're not subscribed to him, go on over there, go subscribe. Does really good stuff. But we're gonna do Mixtape Monday. I didn't put up the post obviously because it was a holiday weekend, asking for questions, but you guys always ask me questions in the comments. So we're going to cover King Charles and the Princess of Wales and whether some dark, spooky stuff caused their illnesses. We're going to talk about Johnny Depp and his relationship with Vanessa Paradis, his ex-paramour, the mother of his children, and also Winona Ryder. These were two questions in the comments. So really cool stuff. Then we have a huge question from an amazing commenter, super fan on this channel, Stephanie. She wants to know about all kinds of stuff about the Nigerian situation. So we're gonna cover that. I also had some questions about Madonna and what she's up to. And I didn't know what she was up to, so I had to look it up a little bit. So let's get started. If you're new here, I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. I'm coming off a holiday weekend. I discovered daiquiris yesterday. I've never had a daiquiri before. We had all this excess rum in our house from people coming to parties here. So I figured we'd put it to good use. And I got real good at making lime daiquiris. So I guess they're called lime daiquiris, not strawberry daiquiris, but lime daiquiris. So that was fun. Over the weekend, depleting some of our liquor supply, but we had good friends over, good friends that we don't see quite enough of. So I hope you guys had a great day. I hope you had a great long weekend. I hope you rested and you're replenished. I'm ready to go. Let's cut into the cards. And so the first question we're going to tackle is, did dark magic cause King Charles or the Princess of Wales illnesses? So we're going to look at these separately. So let's look at King Charles. Let's look at King Charles first. Was there some nefarious? Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. This makes a little bit more sense to me. I don't think that it is dark magic. So I think what we're looking at is something a little bit different, and we will get into it in just a second. So, wow. So most people like me would see the Seven of Swords and go, oh, there's something shady going on. Most people would say that. I'm not saying that on this reading. You know why? Because this anxiety and wringing of his hands had something to do with it. So there's something very interesting about the condition of the body when it's under stress and how your body will react to stress in different dispositions, let's put it that way. One of the things that Louise Hay said was resentment. If you're not familiar with Louise Hay, she's like the great grandmommy of affirmations and healing your body with thoughts. Unfortunately, we lost her in the last few years on this plane, but she's still working up on the other plane. You can look up some of her stuff. She's got an amazing card subscription box that you can get. I get it. It's you get a lot of oracle cards, not a lot of tarot cards, but a lot of oracle cards in it. But she always said that resentment is something that would cause cancer to come about because it's something that eats away at us. This, I think, this stage, when we have the genetics are set there, the genetics will play into it, but when we have the disposition, that is what will trigger those the multiplication or destruction of cells in some cases. So I do think it wasn't so much that someone did incantations and burned black candles and whatnot, but I think that the behavior of some people, because when we look at this Seven of Swords, it really is behavior that we're looking at. Actions taken. If we got more of like a magician or a devil and a magician and things were turned upside down, I maybe say, there was a little bit of manifestation, dark manifestation on this. But I think this was really the practical stresses that were put on King Charles, both before and after his coronation. I think the practical stresses brought something to the surface, brought something that was dormant to the surface. It was just his disposition and the stress from losing his mother, but losing his father first, losing his mother, then being, coronated, brought to, having his son run amok. Come on, there's a lot going on here. And I do think that Edward was not in great health for some of this. And I think that was kept very, very quiet. He's, even though he's the Duke of Edinburgh now, I think he was kind of inconsequential prior to the coronation. He was kind of just doing his own thing and raising his own family. So I think really all of this pressure brought to the fore just kind of tipped the scales. So he understands that the stress of these two are a problem. It does create a problem. And the idea, now that we have the Ace of Swords and the Page of Swords here, these are new beginnings. Aces and pages are very similar because they are springboards for other things. We're kind of leaping off and jumping into stuff. So these are very similar. The way I describe it is, it's your first day of work. If we get the Ace of Swords, the opportunity is there to apply for a job. If we're the Page of Swords, it's our first day of work. We're starting up at the company. He understands that cutting them off may be seen as reactive and not playing into the idea of having a cohesive royal family. I think, kill him with kindness, kill him with sweetness is really the order of the day for King Charles as a human being and a father. But in this sense, he really does need to distance himself and function as, and I've talked about this in other readings, not as King Charles the king, not as Charles the father, but Charles the man. How would he conduct himself if this was an individual that he was just working with in a non-professional, non-familial capacity? He really has to look at that. If someone said these kinds of things about him, about his family, how would he react? And I really think he is trying to put himself in that place despite the consult of others. I think the Privy Council, his counselors of state, anyone who's advising the king would say you need to cut them off because it's not going to be conducive to an effective and smooth reign, essentially. So even though this is counter to what he believes, he's going to do it because I think on some level he intuitively knows that the pressure of I'm not doing devil horns, I promise. The pressure of the actions of these two created the anxiety, the angst, and thereby created this dis-ease in his physical person. So eliminating that stress, eliminating those kinds of behaviors is going to bring him back to better health. So we do wish the king, long may he reign. Hopefully he will do better in terms of physical protection, psychic protection of his physical body. So Catherine, Princess of Wales, was there some dark manifestation in play for her dis-ease? So when I get the Justice card or the Lover's card or the Temperance card, sometimes these are karmic relationships that we are balancing. Sometimes there's evidence of that. In this sense, and I do get the sense that it's fairly fresh, this karmic back and forth with the two of them. But I do think that Meghan and Princess Catherine, Catherine, Princess of Wales, there is some kind of karmic tug of war that is fairly fresh, but it originates with Harry. The cleaved relationship is really with her and Harry. They have had lifetimes before where they have been very close and very comfortable and very supportive. There's like a mother son kind of, or mother child kind of aspect to their relationship. So I do think that there is some built-in resentment on Meghan because of that mother child foundation that we have, or that theme that we have for their lifetimes together. So this Justice card does not come up as just desserts or something like that, but a leveling out of the playing field, which is very interesting because by all accounts, Catherine, Princess of Wales, is much, much better regarded than Meghan Markle at this point. Again, due to Meghan Markle's behavior, due to her actions that she's taken, unfortunately. So this manifestation, if we will, is almost a lowering of the bar, the vibration of Catherine, so that Meghan has a fighting chance to get on the same playing field, if that makes sense. Like, and I've been accused of being a Sussex in favor of the Sussex people. I assure you, I'm not. But I think that their actions and their missteps have been very, very poorly guided. But it's almost like this gives Meghan a chance to redeem herself and to kind of rise to the occasion. Is she going to? No, because she is fueled by a resentment from a past lifetime that is bleeding over into this lifetime, unfortunately. She's going to steam right through. We've got that 8 of wands right there, which is communication steam. I think she is going to terrestrially, and I do think that there was some evidence of this. I think she did reach out to Catherine and send some well wishes. Maybe she sent some jam. Uh, I'm sorry I had to say it. But I think that terrestrially she sent out some messaging, and I don't think that it was received well. Again, when we get that 7 of wands, we get this karmic balancing. But is Catherine troubled by this? No, she's not bothered by it. Their worlds are very different, and the 7 of wands talks about that. We've got winners and losers, people on one side of the fence, people on the other side of the fence. Just to give you an example, with the 9 of wands, we are standing in front of the things that we have. And we're protecting those. But with the 7 of wands, we're still battling for some of those wands to put them behind us. So, we're still actively working toward this, but not really bothered. She's on higher ground. And again, she radiates this love and gratitude and wonderfulness that kind of supersedes any negative stuff that you would have thrown us. So I every now and then I get clients that call me up and say, I have a curse put on me. I have a curse put on me. You can't have a curse put on you if you let it in. And what I mean by that is there's plenty of people out there that will do you wrong, both, in the terrestrial world and energetically. But if you don't allow it to affect your life, if you counter every bad thing that someone throws at you with 10 good things, and that's, just an example number, you don't have to do 10 good deeds, but if you counter bad behavior of someone with 10 good things, then you're kind of up on the game, and energetically you're raising your vibration so that you're not affecting them. Where people can get affected by people throwing, some darkness at them is if they're vibrating at a very low level, if they are complaining and irritable and aggravated all day long, and just resentful and envious, all of those things. If they're that all day long, then yes, somebody can, throw some hexes at you, the malaloika, whatever. They can do that kind of stuff. And in those circumstances, it's not so much the effort to protect yourself, but the effort to change your psychic lifestyle, and create a psychic lifestyle that is not going to allow that in. So I do think that that is very, very, very important. So, is she having daggers thrown at her? Yeah, we've seen it in a million pictures. It's not, we're not surprised. We've seen the squinty, predator eyes that are going on. That's just something that happens. So, there's the evidence is there, but do we accept that as people? No, we should not. We should do good things. We should be good people, and that will deflect it. Catherine is one of them. She is a good person. She is deflecting it by being grateful, by looking at things on the brighter side, very, very optimistic kind of view. So, so there it is. There it is. So I don't think that this is more terrestrial. I think it's more karmic for sure with the two of them. So I'm just going to pause for one. Okay, that was a massive sloppy shuffle. So we're going to switch it up to Johnny Depp. Oh, Johnny. So I had two separate questions. One was, will he ever get back together with Winona Ryder? Now, Winona Ryder is in a long-term relationship. He is not a celebrity person. I'm not even going to drop his name. But she's been in this relationship, I don't know, it's 10 or 12 years. It's been a while. So I think we should start there. I think we should see where she's at right now in terms of her love life. I think she's fantastic. Judgment. So she's making some decisions about what she wants the rest of her life to look like. Oh. Oh, then that's interesting. Okay. So Winona Ryder is about my age. I think she's either like a year older than me or a year younger than me. So, 50, early 50s. Um, we've got a regret here, regret for not having children when the time was ripe. Um, that's very interesting that she has that regret. It's very curious. But she's judging about where she wants her life to what she wants her life to look like. And I do think that she's concerned that she missed out on the progeny. She missed out on that part, and that it's too late to do that. It's too late to adopt. It's too late to engage in this. This is something that I think is primary on her mind. So, what is our solution for this for her? Um, this can sometimes be over drinking and then being found out. The world card. Hmm. So all of this indicates a little bit too much running away from the issue at hand and trying to not confront that loss. So feeling that loss of not having children, and to be sure, I don't think that everyone needs to have children. This conversation I've had with some friends, I don't think that it's selfish. I mean, I know a lot of people say narcissists don't have kids, but not everybody doesn't have kids for that reason. I was one of those people. I did not want to have children. Um, I just didn't feel competent. I didn't feel that I didn't think it was going to be for me. But then surprisingly, it was. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Um, but this is really kind of she kind of missed the window. And I think she was licking her wounds over the optimal childbearing years. She had some missteps with the law, and I think she was licking her wounds over that. So, this makes me a little bit concerned that there's going to be an avoidance of the topic, an avoidance of the subject matter because she just doesn't want to face it. So she is very sweet. Is she well suited to be a mother? I think at this point it's almost like a non-issue because she just can't really approach that. Let's see what happens with work. Um, see what's going on with her work. Oh, so has some concerns about work being pigeonholed in terms of roles here. I think she's a little bit worried about that. The spooky roles, like she's just she's like Tim Burton's sweetheart. I think she's concerned about that. Now, to be sure, she has an extensive acting career. I thought she was great in Bram Stoker's Dracula. A lot of people disagree, but I thought she was great. I think she's absolutely stunningly beautiful. Um, you know, there's a concern that the career is kind of headed down the Vincent Price path, and she doesn't want that. So she needs a big role to step out. I do think that that comes. I do think that we get that, and it's through a weird connection, through one of her old school connections. So is this Johnny Depp? I don't know. This might be a wild, wild question. Because something is upheaval of her own doing. So I think she's going to. I know the Beetlejuice movie is coming out, Beetlejuice 2. We have the last season of Stranger Things. I think she's going to step away from the spooky and macabre roles. Not that they were macabre. I shouldn't say macabre, but I think she's going to step away from those roles for a little bit. I think she's going to do something a little bit different. But certainly she's going to be a star. She's going to pull out all the stops. It's going to be great. And it's going to be a risk. She wants to take a risk on the next role. So very interesting, very interesting. So let's see. Would her and Johnny ever get back together? Let's ask on camera. Are they ever going to get back together on camera? Because I think that would be a dangerous thing for the future. I don't even know if he would do it. Let's ask that first. Would Johnny Depp ever do a film with Winona Ryder again? He would have to think long and hard about it. Oh, she is his poison. So, oh, he would be very, very conflicted about working with her again because he's afraid that he would fall into it again, and that he feels like it's almost a star-crossed lovers kind of thing, that they really could not work together without falling in love, um without he could not work with her without falling in love again. And he would have to be extremely practical about it, and it almost would affect his work because he would have to be so offstandish with her. um Very, very interesting. Hmm. But he would do it with it's like if Tim Burton got in there, he would do it. um he would have to have a lot of people playing in the whole situation so that it's like almost like never leave me alone with her because I'll just fall all over the place. Um, does he still have feelings? I think he's afraid that he still has feelings, quite frankly. So would they ever get together? All the stars aligned? Would they for all of us? Would they please? So with the Hierophant there, we're looking at perhaps having some influence on them. And the Hierophant can be those seats of power, but it can also be good friends, good counsel, people that say, you know what, you've been talking about this forever. You've been hung up on this gal forever. You've been hung up on this guy forever. Why don't you just give him a call and see if it works? Now, the problem is that she has a long-term boyfriend. Don't know if that would be something she would jump out of. And I do think she lives here in on the East Coast in New York. I think she actually resides here most of the time, but I could be wrong. Um, it would upheave their entire lives and be this tremendous time of excitement and glory, and all of Hollywood would celebrate this. I think they really would. Um, she would have two kids that, two stepchildren, one of which is still fairly young. I think Jack is like 17 or 18. Um, and it would be a new beginning where they could both walk together. It's almost like they did their penance. They did their terrestrial penance, her with the legal trouble she had, and him with the AH trouble that he had. So they did their time. They made their mistakes. Would it be the best judgment? I think they would keep questioning it their whole lives. I think all if they did get together, I think they would always be kind of a little offstandish and kind of watching each other. There is something about them both thinking, well, we're not the same people that we were before. We're very different people, and that's okay, because I think everybody changes, year after year. We have different things that come out about us, different things that we develop, and different things that we give up about ourselves. So I don't think that is a bad thing, that there's this sense of maturity there in both of them. um I'm gonna hold off judgment on this one. I do think that they both, I think he is very afraid that he will fall back in love with her immediately as soon as he sees her. And there's a video of him after they broke up, and he sees her and he kind of waves over at her, and it's, oh, like you could just see he's just hubba. I'm sorry. So I digress. So now we're going to ask another question about Johnny Depp and his former paramour, Vanessa Paradis. So I think she is adorable. She's very has like a very Kate Moss look about her, but certainly very, very French and refined, very pretty. So she is the mother of his children. What is their relationship currently like? That was the question that was asked. What is their relationship currently like? That indicates it's very good. Oh, even better. Excellent. So I think what we're looking at here is they're both very comfortable with the status quo and how things are right now. Their lives are different and separate, but very happy. So I don't think that Vanessa is extremely ostentatious, even though she was an actress, singer, and a model. I don't think that she's very ostentatious. I think she's a very um, practical person who lives with luxury. It's not she is a luxurious person that is just being driven around by chauffeurs all day long, and you know having someone light her cigarette for her. I just don't think it's that kind. That kind of a lifestyle does not appeal to her. There's something very family oriented about her, and I don't know if that is her family, meaning the children that she had with Johnny Depp, or if that's her extended family, like her parents and grandparents and cousins and whatnot. But there's something that she's very, very, very much closely bonded with that family unit. So it's the binds that are unbreakable. It's really that kind of a spirit with her. And I do like that very much. Now, I think that there has been some discussion about how good things were at one time. I think the conversations, it was very good. I think there's some, contriteness here, some contrition. And I think he has admitted to some suspected wrongdoings. Perhaps he did say that the relationships kind of bled over in terms of timing. Um, I have a feeling that came out, but the damage was already done. When the breakup happened initially, that damage was done. So, having this, ultimate um, admission here is really not going to do anything. If the effort was to try and make things a little bit cozier for them as a four-piece family, I don't think she's in agreement with that. I think she really wants to continue to stand on her own and have this happy life that she's crafted for herself post-divorce. The divorce or split, I should say split, because I don't think that they were legally married. But the split for her was much more difficult because she took the time to stay by herself, and she really was alone for a good portion of it. So I think, she had a lot of time to self-reflect and look at herself. And he obviously was with Amber Heard, which was a roller coaster ride of craziness. um the placidity of this family life is something that now he looks back on and says, this was lovely. It was not exciting, but it was lovely. And he realizes that, he was with a salesman. He was with a salesman that was selling him the excitement of youth, the infusion of youth, that shot in the arm of what once was in his days when he owned the Viper Room prior to River Phoenix passing away, who was a good friend of his. That took a big chunk out of him. um I think he was looking for that electricity that we have in our youth, especially those of us that came up in the 90s. I'm not a 90s kid. I just had a lot of fun in the 90s, but I think he was looking for that electricity of youth, and that was something that Amber did give to him, that was very exciting, and that Vanessa was settling into this bliss of family life. So, I think that their relationship is very good moving forward. I think, there's no turning back. That it was a one-way street with the split. So that's something that I think JD does come to terms with, in the course of this. So that's all I have to say about that. I was upset when they broke up. I'll be honest. I was upset. So we're gonna skip over to Madonna. I did vogue. I did a little voguing there. So I know nothing about Madonna's life. Full disclosure, I think she's a little creepy. I was a huge fan when I was a young girl. I thought Like a Virgin was the greatest album ever. I had the rubber bracelets. I did the whole thing. I Desperately Seeking Susan, still one of my favorite movies. I loved when she got married to Sean Penn. I hung on every moment of that. But at some point, my opinion of her changed, and it was almost like she was trying too hard, and trying to be like, you're already the queen of pop. You don't have to keep shocking us. You don't have to, you know, publish another book, Stephen Meisel book. You don't have to do that. We've got it. Like, we know that you're shocking. And it was like she just kept trying, like, she got the grills and like, come on, stop. And I was upset when she married Guy Ritchie, because I did like Guy Ritchie's movies, and I was afraid that was going to be affected me. Like this has personal effect on me. No, I do like Guy Ritchie's movies. Snatch is one of my favorite movies. Brad Pitt is fantastic in it with his Irish accent, his Irish gypsy accent. So I had to look her up. So let's put it that way. And what I got is that she recently split up with a young boxer named Josh Popper. He was only 30. Mind you, Madonna is 65. She broke up with him, not long ago. And she is now dating Richard Riakporhe. Porhi? I can't say Riakporhe. He's 34 years old. We're just going to call him Richard for the rest of it because I don't want to butcher his last name. He's also a boxer. So they were just out for a night on the town over the weekend. And Madge, of course, looks fabulous. I'll see if I could squeeze their picture into the thumbnail. I think she does have a grill on in this picture. He's certainly a good-looking guy. I'm sure he is ripped out and in great shape. And that's one of the things, you don't get into, and we could talk about plastic surgery all day long, but you don't get into that kind of shape that Madonna's in without being extremely regimented. I've said this about J-Lo too, being very careful about what you put into your body and very careful about how you move your body. So let's see how this budding relationship with Richard is going to go. And I guess she met Popper, the last boyfriend. Her son, David Banda, was taking some lessons in boxing, and they blame her busy tour schedule on them not seeing each other. But now she's with Richard. So, and honestly, I think Richard's a little bit better looking, just in my opinion. So let's see. There's a sloppy shuffle again for you. Let's see how she's got. I'm going to bring the picture up just so I can focus on their energy. All right. So how's this relationship going to go? Not good. Not good. This is a rebound relationship, guys. So we got two of those. Whenever the cards stick together, I always take them together. So, there's some kind of quid pro quo for this. So I do think that maybe she's helping him promote himself or maybe an endeavor or business that he has. I know that Popper had his own gym. I don't know about Richard. I don't know if Richard has a gym or something like that. But looks like there's some quid pro quo here. Now, it is a rebound relationship. It's, trying to busy oneself after having, broken heart or not seeing someone, circumstances make us break up. Is it hitting all the marks? Not necessarily. Is it time to move on? Not just yet. We're limiting our, it's not gushy and over the top. It's just kind of I want to say mechanical. It's like very mechanical. And, we're just kind of doing what we do and having a good time with that. It's just kind of what we're doing. Is that a bad thing? No, he's going to be a placeholder for a little while. It's just a placeholder until we find somebody else. So there it is. What's going on with her professionally? And she just finished in October, I think it was, the Celebrations tour. She only recently revived her Celebrations tour, performing in London last October after quitting due to ill health. She swapped concerts in Brazil earlier this month, throwing a big party with Popper nowhere to be seen. And this is coming out of the Mirror, boys and girls. So, that was that bacterial infection she had. Okay. She has a birthday coming up in August. We'll see who's with her on her birthday. So what's going on professionally? So we revived the tour. What's going on with her professionally? What does she need to know? Speed and communication. Work. She's got to outsource. She's got to outsource some of her communication. So this tells me that while she is on the tour, in order to get the most bang for her buck, Tower in reverse. We're just going to pull a clarifier card for that one. Don't get clouded by that Knight of Cups. So communication and speed. Okay. So this is a lot of the time we look at the Eight of Wands as internet, your tweets, sorry, there's a gnat down here. Your Instagram lives, that kind of thing. She really needs to put somebody in charge of that because some of the messaging that she's sending out is contradictory. And having someone while she's on tour, which is an incredible amount of work, especially, it's an incredible amount of work when you're in your 20s and 30s, but at 65, is she really 65? I think she's really 65, guys. She's 65. At 65, doing the show that she does is incredibly taxing. I don't care how good of shape you're in. I really don't. You're going to be exhausted. So plugging someone in to take care of the marketing aspect of that with the social media is going to make a lot more sense. If she turns the social media around and starts focusing on this new paramour, it's going to kind of dilute the message of the celebrations tour. So she really needs to have somebody in charge of that. This guy, he can be a great distraction. He can be something terrific. But fusing the professional and personal life, it should be one shot of him, like maybe once every 10 days, and that's it. And not videos of him or anything of that sort, her, dancing around with him or whatever. Even though she does want to kind of combine those two lives and she really does want to stay in charge of her social media, it's a good idea to have someone curate and cultivate that social media presence because I'm getting the sense that we may not see a lot more touring out of her, like real extensive tours. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's see. Ooh. So touring, I think we're not going to see touring very much. I think it may be too much for her to tour in the future. Chariot card with the Three of Swords in reverse. I think the wear and tear is just too much. But I do think that we're going to get a big revival album. I think she is going to take a page out of this Taylor Swift book. So, Taylor Swift did the Eras tour. Then she did the movie for people that couldn't make it to the tour because the tickets were $8,000 each. Uh, and now she's doing the European leg of the tour. So, I think we're going to see footage of this tour, the celebration tour. I think Madge really knows that they need to document this, and she's done that before. I mean, we had the movie Truth or Dare. Those of you that are younger may not be familiar with that. But Warren, she was dating Warren Beatty at the time, and she had not Rosie O'Donnell. Was it Rosie O'Donnell? I think no, Sandra Bernhard. I think was one of her friends that was hanging. I think Rosie O'Donnell was there actually. So I think they're going to find that doing recordings of this and it's almost like a soup to nuts kind of DVD Netflix special is going to come out. So it's going to start with her early days and kind of take you through all of her touring. So it's going to be this like live presentation of all of her tours and her best performances from the tours, which is going to be really cool. I mean, the footage is there. It's just a matter of having someone edit it and put it together. It's a great idea. So if they're listening, hey, it was my idea. It is a great idea. Just doing like a symposium of her tours, kind of a chronology of her tours, the best of the best of the best of the best. I think that is going to kind of be her swan song. The end of the live performances. I think she's going to package it together. So, you would have to sit for like 6 hours and watch all of these amazing performances. Live Aid, I had that jacket. It was similar to the one she had in the Live Aid performance. I loved that jacket, and it was so cheap and crappy, and I still loved it. There's a picture of me somewhere with it. If I can find it, I will. But I do think that that's kind of the direction we're going. I think the touring is too much at this point. She's 65, guys. That's 5 years away from 70. So, we're getting to an age where things get very complicated. Sorry, that was a hair in my mouth. Dog hair in my mouth because Raven is laying over there still sleeping. So I think that's what we're going to see. I think, getting together with a good producer, editor, director, I think that's really going to be the trick. So cool stuff for Miss Madge. So we're saying that relationship she's in right now is definitely a lily pad relationship. I call them lily pad relationships, lily pad jobs, when you're just hopping to the next one. And I think this may be her last tour, maybe a couple of mini tours, but I think this is going to be the last big one. I think, the harbinger of having the infection that she had before. I think I did a reading on that. And I think I said that she actually was out. They had to bring her back. I think I said that. But this brings us all the way back to some royals. And I'm just going to stop the video for a minute. All right. So this last question is from Stephanie, and it has about 47 parts. So we're going to have some fun with this. So first part of it, it's all regarding this Nigerian heritage, this alleged 43% Nigerian heritage that Meghan has revealed. Meghan Markle, for those of you that have been living under a rock for the last few years. First question, does Harry or Doria believe the 47%? Let's start with Harry. Let's see what Harry believes. Oh, Harry does not believe it. He kind of rolls his eyes at this, but being the more submissive of the two, he is not able to say anything about it. It's information that he thinks should be accelerated and sent out there because it does work for their brand. So there's Harry. What about Doria? Does Doria believe this 43% Nigerian bit? She thinks this is nothing but trouble. And she actually, I think, wants to do her own genetics if she has not already, just uncover something. Now, oddly enough, I don't know why I get like a West Indian thing with Doria. And I'm not a geneticist or anything like that, but I've always gotten like a West Indian kind of vibe from her. I'm not sure why. So let's go back to Harry. What does Harry think she should do with this Nigerian heritage information? What does Harry think she should do with it? Now he thinks she should stop talking about it because too many questions are being asked and something is going to give. So someone's going to pull that genetic information, or they're gonna demand that they see it. So Harry thinks they need to back off it. Sorry if that was contrary from the last one. I kind of thought that was what he wanted. What does Doria think she should do about it? About this Nigerian information? I think Doria wants her to mea culpa on this. I think Doria wants her to say there was an error. I made a mistake. They made a mistake. We're going to retest. I think Doria wants her to do that just to kind of correct the information that's out there. So next question, again from Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie. How will Meghan react if this 43% Nigerian business is proven false? Oh, for Pete's sake. That was something I was known in my corporate office for. People would hear me say that all the time. Oh, for Pete's sake. There's one guy in particular who would be like, what would Pete do now on our internal system? I'd be like, ah. But it was not in regard to clients, but it was mostly in regard to tech. So she is going to say that she identifies with that because she does not really know where she comes from. And when one does not know where they come from, they are reborn again and they can pick any African nation of their choosing. This is really what she's going to say. She's going to say that the nation of Africa is her homeland and that she just it feels in her heart Nigerian. That's what she's going to say. But she's going to be greatly disappointed because they don't want her to return to the homeland. Up here, she's going to have to find a whole new homeland. She's going to have to find a country that is going to accept her. Under the surface, she's very hopeful that one country will have her in there. They would love to have home of Meghan Markle on their border. Oh my goodness. Is she going to say that the 43% was actually 4.3% and it was a printer mistake or a mistake on the part of the lab? We know she's not going to say she read it wrong. Will she say it was a printer mistake? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what she's going to say. So good question. Good question. Will she, all right. So Stephanie, your question was, will the country accept this? So I'm breaking it down into America, United Kingdom, and Nigeria. So let's see if America is going to buy what she's selling about the Nigerian thing. Let's see. Is America going to buy it? No. No. No, they're going to see it for what it's worth. They're going to see it for a potential money grab, a potential, monetization situation. I will have another video, a separate video about the resources in Ghana, because apparently Ghana is the next country that they have their eyes set on. So there's another viewer question in there about that. And there was just no way I could fit it into this. We're already at 54 minutes on this video. So will the United Kingdom buy this explanation? No. But as all amazing Britons do, they're going to be like, well, we don't like her anyway, so it's wonderful that you're finding a home in Africa, wherever that may be. We don't give a toss. It's basically what they're going to say. They just don't care. They just don't care. So what about Nigeria? What about the Nigerians that were dancing in the street like the South Africans? What about the Nigerians? Will they accept this? Oh. No, they're going to be pretty mad too. They're going to be pretty angry about that. And I don't think she's going to be able to go back there. I think there's going to be some unhappy people there with her. So we'll do this quick. How will not being Nigerian affect her politics, her bid for politics here? This finding out that she's not Nigerian. So while politicians are the world's best liars, this is proof that she is not a good liar at all. Like this is there's just no room for her at this point. In American politics or anywhere else. Like she just doesn't belong there. If she's like a political advocate, like no one's going to want her to do that. Like right now, there's a whole brouhaha with her and a designer. He just doesn't want to dress her. The guy's pretty amazing. Has a pretty amazing career, but there's people are bubbling up stuff about a bankruptcy that he had, but he doesn't want to work with Megan because it's going to affect his brand. He just does not want that. He would rather be seen as, a guy who doesn't like Meghan Markle than as a guy who's going to give Meghan Markle a chance and his brand is going to blow up. He's just not interested. So, politics are the same way right now. They're just going to say no. No, no thanks. No thanks. How is not being Nigerian going to affect her ARO brand? Uh, this is a tough one. I think she's still going to lean into the branding. I think she's still going to try and do that. I don't think she's going to have a lot of support and a lot of people that will help her work. Now, I don't believe that she made that jam in her kitchen. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't think she's making jam commercially out of her kitchen. I think she made jam for her friends. I don't think she made 50 jars. I think it said there were 50 jars and there weren't because no one is posting up about these 50 jars. Like we got like 5 jars. So, it's about a pound of berries that goes into one container of jam or preserves or compote or whatever you're making. I think hers was more of a compote at the end of the day, what we were seeing. Um, but it looks like the opportunity to do that outside of the house, getting into a bigger venue, getting into a commercial kitchen is just not there. So and I've been saying this. I think that was the soft play to have the cooking show. So, oh, you can make my jam at home. You can't buy my jam because I only make it for my friends, but you can make my jam at home if you follow the instructions that I will show you in this video. So, I do think that the not being Nigerian is just one more thing. It's just one more inauthentic thing. Like for someone who's spouting authenticity so often, like she's so inauthentic and false. It's just really tremendous. So I think that the ARO brand is having a lot of trouble getting off the ground because I don't think that it really was a commercial endeavor as much as it was a commercial for another endeavor, meaning the Netflix show. I think she really wants to have a cooking show, and nobody really wants to watch her because we know she can't cook. So how is not being Nigerian? This is so hard to say. How will not being Nigerian affect her podcast? So I think we're still with Lemonada. I think we're still, hanging out there in the archives of Lemonada. So it's my understanding how Lemonada works is they put the podcast up on their platform, and then you get paid for every play. So it's kind of like YouTube. Like, for every 1,000 views, I get a handful of coins dropped into my Google AdSense account. It's not terrifically lucrative, but I think, with the Lemonada thing, like it's a bit more lucrative, obviously. YouTube is a platform for like everyday folks like me. Like, I know I'm uncommon, but I'm still an everyday folk. But Lemonada, I think, you really have to have that and she does. She has a world platform, world notability, world notoriety. And so people that really want to see her will flock to Lemonada and go check it out. But I do think that there's an investment in Lemonada as well. I don't think it's just she's got her podcast on there and she's just waiting for, people to click on it and watch it or listen. I think she did invest in the company a little bit and then thereby got her program on there. I think that was one way to do it. Are they going to keep her on there? I think so. It doesn't cost them any money to house her on there. Are we going to get anything new? Are we going to go into production for some new stuff? She's trying to drum up some new stuff, but she needs help. And she can't quite get any help. She can't, sorry guys, crooked. Trying not to do these crooked and make everybody seasick. Even though it's the summer and you should be seasick and on a boat. But so I think she's trying to drum up more work, more concepts, more ideas, but she needs some help because she is not really a starter. She doesn't have a lot of creative ideas on her own. So she needs someone to come in and give her some ideas. Now we know she's borrowed some concepts from other people, but this is something she really needs somebody to partner with her. And I can say, I just did the collaboration with Thor Sandalwood and Rick Paul and Rob Akampora. And it's really nice to have a partnership like that because you're not in the trenches by yourself. Something like that. And I'm sure she's got a million people working around her, but something like this, when you do a podcast, like you want to back and forth with somebody. Is she going to do it with Harry? No, he has no interest in podcasting with her. That, like, no one wants to sit around and listen to their conversations. I'm sure somewhere there's someone who would be interested in listening to mine and Greg's conversations. And I'm sure the staff at the other end of our ALEXAs in the house are riveted sometimes about the things that we talk about. But for the most part, I just don't think that their conversations are going to be engaging or riveting or exciting or anything like that. I just don't see that happening. So I don't think that he is the mark for this. She needs to find a higher profile friend. It's a shame. Jessica Mulroney would have been great. They could have talked about fashion and wine all day long. But she burned that bridge and they are no longer friends, according to legend. So how will this, so her podcast it's, do you ever see like those bugs that like fall in a baby pool and it's just kind of like swimming along and you got to either help it out or let it go? And like she's kind of swimming along and she needs somebody to scoop her out of the baby pool. Is that going to happen? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's anybody that really wants to get into bed with her because it's not going to reflect well on their personal brand. So last question, how is this going to affect her charity integrity? The business of not being Nigerian, the disclosure of her not being Nigerian, how is it going to affect her charity? Oh, so she's going to have a lot of trouble getting people to let her go to schools, let her do her thing, borrow the children. It's going to be really hard for her to do that. She's going to struggle. So I don't know if we're going to see a lot of opportunities. Now, in other readings, I've seen that and you can see there's not a lot of pentacles showing up here. I don't think that they have a lot of money to pay to play anymore. I just don't think that they have it in their budgeting. So, what is the solution for them? We'll look at that later, how they can, I'll do that in another reading, how they can resolve their financial issues, how they can create some positive cash flow. But for now, it looks like it's just too hot of a subject. Wands are fire. They're hot. They're hot. And these swords are blowing air on it. So what happens when you blow on flames? They get bigger. That is bananas. So, we get into a very difficult situation where people just don't want to get involved with that. So there it is. That was our Mixtape Monday. Now, I am sure that I saw a few more questions in there, but if I did not answer your question in a comment on a video, I either didn't see it yet or it was too big of a question. Stephanie, I had to put yours in here because it was a huge question. I loved it. It was one question with many, many parts. I like that. So I will continue to do this. But for Mixtape Monday, always look on Sunday morning. I'm going to do a post, a community post. Then you can put your comments down below, all the questions that you want. It's just a way for me to kind of make it a little bit easier for me. I'm also going to break this video up into the chapters and post them up as clips. So you can either watch the whole thing or you can watch the clips. I'll make sure that I put it on the thumbnail that it's a clip. I'll put it in the description of the video so you don't have to watch twice. But if you want to watch twice, watch twice. I could always use the watch hour. So thank you so much for being here. Again, I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. We had a great holiday weekend. Very relaxing. I'm refreshed. Came down here, got some fillings put in. I got 4 fillings today. 4 fillings. I thought I was getting 2. And the dentist was like, nope, we got a whole bunch that we have to do. So I got 4 fillings this morning. I feel fine. It's a great new dentist. So life is good. So I'm thankful that I have a great dentist, great insurance, and could manage to pay the copay on it. So gratitude all over the place. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. I am going to try and squeeze out a live, I think, either Wednesday or Thursday. I just have to check everybody's schedule and see if everyone's going to be on deck or if they have to go someplace. I've got kids working summer jobs now, last minute things at the end of the year happening. So we're just kind of scrambling around before we get to summer. And I still have to fix the leak in the hot tub. I didn't get it done yet, but I am tapping into the universe for somebody who can help me with mechanics on a hot tub because I want to pour some salt in that sucker and I want to go out there and do ritual baths all summer. So we haven't used it in about a year and a half. So we had a leak and just never fixed it. But nonetheless, I hope you all have a great day and I will see you in the next one. Please like, share, comment down below, and make sure you're subscribed. I've had a ton of subscribers. I'm so glad to have all of you on board. If you're new, let me know what you want to see, and I'll make sure I make it happen. So bye for now.